Hey, everybody. This is Jeremy. This is Jets Chaos, and I'm back in California. I'm not going to lie to you. Monday's flight home was one of the most absolute depressing things in the world. And of course, Mrs. Happy came over. Mrs. Happy is some random woman who said, "Oh, I'm so sorry," when she saw my Jets hoodie. That must have been awful for you. Thanks, lady. Now, would you get on the plane so we can take off now? Look, DeVonta Adams requested a trade, which is amazing because I thought that would happen if they were 0-4. I thought that's why the Raiders would be willing to trade him. He only has 1 year left on the contract, blah, 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 blah. In a stunning surprise, and this is surprising to me, even though the Raiders are not horrible, they have the same record as we do. I mean, I'm realistic. I don't think the Raiders are going to go very far, but still, they weren't horrible. They were 2-2. And Adams is really unhappy for whatever reason. He loved the coach initially. Maybe is that something we should worry about, though? Why is he unhappy? Is it because he's not getting the ball enough? Because right now, Garrett Wilson was like this close to having the same breakdown. So if he comes in, is he going to be happy? I mean, before this game in week 4, before the game against Denver, I would have thought, sure, how a team's going to stop both Garrett Wilson and DeVonta. We'll be able to divide the ball around. They'll both be great. DeVonta will probably be the WR1, but Garrett Wilson will probably end up doing better because now he's not covered by everybody. And fantastic, right? And, Mike Williams will have to deal with going down to being a backup for them and coming in when there's 4 wide receiver sets, because 3 wide receiver sets would probably still be Xavier Gibson, or maybe not. We move Garrett Wilson to the slot. Then you'd have Mike Wilson, DeVonta Adams, and then in the slot you'd have Garrett Wilson, and I'm sure DeVonta Adams wouldn't mind playing some slot, so you could rotate it, and that would be your top 3 receivers. Allen Lazard would be a backup receiver. Maybe he comes in 5 receiver sets. Xavier Gibson would probably come in a little bit in some sets to be slot. Who knows? I don't know who would go. Maybe Irving Charles, because he's getting the penalties, although he's pretty valuable on special teams. They'd figure it out. I mean, that's the bottom line. They would figure it out. I'm not going to get into the should they trade, how much should they trade, or all that. No matter what we give up, it hurts. It hurts to give up draft capital, especially when Joe Douglas drafts so well. But I'll tell you what. The question really is, because of the Denver game, is it going to help? I mean, was that the problem? Was it guys not being open? Because the film wasn't showing that. So I don't know if it solves the problem with Denver. But the thing I can say pretty confidently is it makes us better. There's no way we're not a better team if you have DeVonta Adams and Garrett Wilson as your top 2 receivers. I mean, that's 2 WR1s, right? And Mike Williams has been making some clutch catches. He's good. He's been good. So, my God, can you imagine the 3 of them on the field at the same time? Then you got Conklin lined up at tight end. You got Breece Hall, Braylon Allen behind you. I mean, look, on paper, it's all been looking great. And I know what you're going to say, and I agree with you. The real question is, doesn't any of it matter with this coaching? Because the coaching has been terrible. And let me give you the number one thing to back that up, that the coaching is terrible. Robert Saleh took over this team in 2021. There was barely anyone left, so the roster is completely changed, except for like Quinnen Williams. And from the day he took over till the day right now that I'm speaking, we are the most penalized team in the NFL. So it's the change of players didn't help. Getting in his own culture didn't help. You can't make excuses and say, well, it's not my fault these penalties happened. And we're the 32nd. Out of 32 teams, we're number 1. So that's it. It's the coaching. There's no discipline. There's no accountability. So my question is DeVonta Adams makes us better, but is it going to matter? Is it going to help? Do we have any chance to win as long as Robert Saleh is the coach? Let me know in the comments. And I'm still hurt, but I'm just going to say it. Jet up. And can you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't? 70% of my viewers have not subscribed to the channel. I don't understand it. Go Jets. Jet up.